Alright, let's get into it. So, Meek Mill is out here shaking the table like it owes him money. The Philly rapper who once played it cool in the shadows of Diddy's glittering empire? Yeah, he's not staying silent anymore. Apparently, he's tired of watching people act clueless while dark secrets swirl louder than a helicopter at a crime scene. According to Meek, Diddy's infamous parties weren't just about champagne showers and private jets. Nah, these weren't your average Hollywood get-togethers. These were no-boundary, raw, anything-goes freak-offs, allegedly packed with escorts, baby oil, locked doors, and zero protection. And now, Meek's saying the consequences of those nights are finally surfacing, literally and medically. Here's where it gets messy. Not just for Diddy, but for the entire industry that's been orbiting him. Because Meek isn't just throwing vague shade, he's allegedly naming names. And first up on the hit list, Will Smith. That one hit like a slap across the face, no pun intended. Meek hinted that Will might have attended some of those infamous parties. Now, the internet already had its theories about Will's double life ever since his former assistant dropped cryptic hints, but Meek dragging him directly into Diddy's mix, that's gasoline on an already smoldering fire. But the Will thing is just the surface scratch. Meek's revelations come at a time when Diddy's world is under federal level heat. Remember that raid? Over 1,000 bottles of baby oil were reportedly seized from his home. Not exaggerating, no protection kits, no signs of health precautions, just lube. That image alone got people questioning just how reckless these parties actually were. And if you believe the whispers, some of the attendees didn't leave with just a wild story. They left with something they can't get rid of. Jaguar Wright, a name that's been consistently loud when it comes to industry truths, claimed Diddy's been allegedly battling something serious for years. HIV, not just herpes. And she didn't stop there. She claimed there's a list, y'all. 20 names long. Big name. Familiar faces. All supposedly infected through the same underground scene that Diddy's been orchestrating for years. She hasn't dropped the full list yet. Says she's saving it for her show. But the streets are connecting the dots faster than a conspiracy YouTuber on Red Bull. Now let's talk about YK Osiris. His name slid into the conversation like a banana peel on stage. Osiris has had some eyebrow-raising moments with Diddy. Vacations, shirtless photos, late-night vibes. That alone had the timeline buzzing. But then his baby mama dropped a tweet that cracked open a whole new level. "I caught him with a man," she wrote, simple, direct, and just messy enough to grab attention. Now stack that on top of Osiris breaking down on IG Live, crying about wanting to die, spiraling in real time, and people are wondering if this is just emotional stress or the weight of something darker. The wild part? Osiris didn't really deny any of the rumors. When he was on The Breakfast Club and the Diddy topic came up, dude got awkward real fast. Nervous laughter, dodging questions like dodgeballs in gym class. If you weren't paying close attention, you might have thought it was just innocent teasing. But if you looked at his face, the deflection said more than any denial could. At this point, it's not just about Meek's words, it's about the domino effect. Every celebrity who's ever been close to Diddy is getting side-eyed. Pictures, old tweets, videos, all resurfacing. Matching outfits, jet rides, spas, and once again, folks are wondering if the connection was just industry camaraderie or something far more intimate. And if Meek is speaking up now, what does that say about his own past highs? That question is burning a hole in every comment section right now. French Montana's name wasn't safe either. He's been Diddy's right-hand hype man for years, always a few steps behind him at every party, every yacht, every red carpet, but now people are revisiting those clips with a whole new lens. One birthday video in particular lit up the internet. Diddy looking way too comfortable rubbing oil on French while they stood in front of a cake. What was supposed to be a celebration suddenly looked like an episode of something much spicier. French laughed it off at the time, but now that Meek dropped his name, that laugh don't hit the same. And then there's Usher. Man, Usher's history with Diddy stretches back decades. What's unsettling is the fact that Usher was just 13 when he lived at Diddy's New York pad. In an old interview, he admitted things were wild and curious, and even said he wouldn't let his own kids near that environment today. He was laughing while saying it, but that nervous chuckle told on him. Add that to the fact that Usher's already been sued twice for allegedly giving women herpes, and suddenly the puzzle pieces aren't looking random anymore. This whole thing got folks pulling out receipts from all angles, old interviews, obscure tweets, paparazzi photos. Now every spa day, every shirtless selfie, every private flight is being scrutinized like evidence in a courtroom. People ain't playing detective for fun. They're genuinely trying to figure out how deep this web goes, and more importantly, how many people might be involved without the public even realizing. Craig Mack's story has resurfaced too. He was one of Bad Boy's original stars, the one who gave Diddy his first real hit, but then dude just vanished. Word is, after he left the label, he got real spiritual, joined a cult, and cut ties with everyone in the industry. Then in 2018, Craig died of AIDS. The timing, the silence, the circumstances, it's all too eerie. Some folks say he wasn't just running from the industry, he was running from something he witnessed. Maybe something he didn't want to be a part of. Maybe something he couldn't unsee. And that's not even the creepiest part. There's a clip out there of Craig Mack talking about being threatened by a mob top figure in the business. Said he was being told he owed someone an album, that he didn't owe them a damn thing. People are now speculating that the person behind that threat was Diddy himself. It's all alleged, but it adds another layer to the mountain of shady vibes piling up around Combs. Meanwhile, Meek is trying to do damage control. He hit Twitter offering $100,000, 0 cents, to anyone who could find proof that he was never involved in the things people are saying. But the internet doesn't forget. Leaked pictures of him and Diddy in matching fits, jet rides, spa visits, the infamous audio clip that supposedly caught both of them in a very intimate moment. He can shout innocence all day, but folks online are already drawing their own conclusions. Orlando Brown's been one of the loudest voices adding fuel to the fire. He's been dragging Meek without flinching, saying what a lot of people are thinking but too scared to say out loud. That Meek ain't just a bystander in this situation. He might have been Diddy's favorite, the one he kept closest, and if that's true, and if the rumors about Diddy carrying something are even halfway legit, then Meek might not be speaking out just for clout. He might be warning people or protecting himself before someone else does it for him. The wave of silence from other celebrities caught in the Diddy orbit is only making things louder. Folks like Usher, Will Smith, French Montana, they're either deflecting, ducking, or pretending the internet's on mute. Will tried to clap back in the most awkward way possible during a comedy show, joking he had nothing to do with Puffy. But the crowd wasn't laughing with him. That weak punchline just felt like a nervous tick. And let's be honest, when a storm like this hits, silence ain't strength, it's suspicion. The wildest part? It's not just fans pushing this narrative. Industry insiders, people who've been in those rooms, are chiming in now. Stories are leaking. Some of them sound like plot lines from a twisted HBO drama. Secret flights to islands, parties where phones were taken at the door, and NDAs thicker than novel. Diddy's known for controlling his image, but now that control is slipping and everyone he ever stood next to is at risk of being dragged down with him. There's been an eerie shift in how people talk about him now. It's not just jokes or accusations anymore, it's fear. Not just fear of exposure, but fear of what might come next. With the feds already involved, the vibe is starting to feel more like a criminal investigation than gossip. And that changes everything. If those RICO charges stick, and if the STDs and sexual misconduct allegations are connected, we're talking about a takedown that could shatter careers, destroy reputations, and potentially send people to prison. And Meek? He's not walking away clean no matter how many tweets he fires off. That one audio clip, the one folks claim caught him in Diddy mid-freak mode, still haunts the timeline. Nobody's released the full version yet, but the teasers are enough to make people lean in. Add that to the spa day pics, the matching luxury fits, the suspiciously intimate energy in those videos, and it's hard to ignore. People are side-eyeing him not because they're shocked, but because they're trying to figure out how deep he was in and what finally made him speak up. Some say Meek flipped because he saw the writing on the wall. Maybe he knows indictments are coming and wants to distance himself. Others believe he's genuinely trying to expose something dangerous. Maybe both are true, but either way, his reputation's already dented. He's not being seen as a hero, he's being seen as someone who might have played both sides for too long, and now that it's crumbling, he's trying to get ahead of it. The internet's been ruthless. Memes, timelines, exposed footage, users posting side-by-side images linking years of suspicious closeness, but the deeper story isn't about the memes. It's about the sickness behind the scenes. Real people, real consequence. Whispers of bodies showing symptoms, lawsuits waiting in the wings, and a potential health crisis that's been ignored for far too long because of fame, money, and silence. Jaguar Wright's words still ring heavy. She claimed there's a list, a deadly list, and while folks debate whether it's real or not, the fear it's created is real enough. Because if names start dropping officially, if test results, hospital records, or sealed documents become public, then it's over. Not just for Diddy, but for an entire generation of stars who danced in the dark thinking no one would ever turn on the lights. Now it's all about survival. Who talks first? Who cooperates? Who disappears? The freak-offs might have been fun when the doors were closed, but now that they're wide open, the aftermath looks less like a party and more like a purge.